Ok, et salut à tous, salut Droops. On est reparti pour faire du Spellforce 3. Donc ce coup-ci un épisode plutôt histoire tout le bordel, parce qu'apparemment il faut qu'on parle à Iria 3, il faut qu'on parle à Gore, il faut qu'on parle à Yana, il faut qu'on parle à Rohan, il faut qu'on parle à Underguest. Voilà, il faut qu'on parle à beaucoup de monde, ok. Donc on va commencer par parler, je pense à... On est où déjà? Ok, je suis là. Ok. Donc on va commencer par parler à... Gore.
Never mind.
Something on your mind?
Ok.
Well, maybe. Remember when you asked me about Rain, the other gifted shaman from my tribe?
Yeah? What about it?
I want to talk about it. I'm not supposed to, but I don't know. I trust you, Tahar, and I've kept silent about this for far too long. Zarek's fangs, this is so silly. I feel like a damn child.
Et ça crache le morceau.
Gore, just spit it out already.
Right. Where do I start? Before becoming a shaman, every disciple has to go through a trial. The Iron Trial, as it's called. I told you that I did most of my training in solitude, didn't I? That wasn't true. 5 years after I entered disciplehood, another orc was accepted by my elder. A female named Rain. She was 2 years younger than me.
Ok. Non, ça...
How did you get along?
Well, at first, I was a complete dick to her. I was jealous and feared for my position. However, she never took offense by it. She fired back at me when I got childish, but at the same time never lowered herself to my level. As the years went by, we became friends. And no, there was no courting or mating involved, if that's what you're thinking. She was more like a sister to me, and one who, unlike my true kin, those years in the Orcish steppes, they were special. We spent days, weeks out in the wild, doing whatever our elder tasked us with. And though it was hard, there was beauty in that. We just had this connection between us, this trust.
Et du coup...
Sounds like friendship to me.
Yeah, friendship. I never had a connection like that again, and I rarely talk about it. One time I did, the orc I told it to laughed right in my face. He thought it was ludicrous, a male spending time with a female who wasn't his mate. He stopped laughing when I broke his nose.
But something happened, am I right?
Yeah, the trial did. A sacred test every disciple has to take before he or she can become a shaman. Our elder sent us both at the same time, which was unusual. But of course I was relieved. There was plenty of talk about the Iron Trial, and I was scared.
Vas-y.
How did Rain feel about it?
Same as I. Believe me, Tahar, only a fool would have entered into the trial with a smug smile on his face. We knew what was ahead of us.
What did you know about the trial?
Rumors. Shamans are forbidden to talk about it. But it was known that only half of those who take it return at all.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Zarek's fangs. I can't believe I'm telling you this. I'm breaking
Oh,
my
les
oath.
couches. Ouais, je suis pas un orc.
For what it's
Balance.
worth, I'll keep silent about it, I promise.
I know you will, Tahar. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We weren't told much about the trial. Only that we'd have to venture to a cave, far up in Barga Gore. They also didn't tell us how to get there. Only that Zarek would guide us. And he did. After a week of traveling, we found it. It was a strange place, Tahar. I saw that right from the beginning. The entrance looked like a mouth, the rocks surrounding it like the bones of an old forgotten beast, and the stalagmites like hundreds of teeth. But of course, we went in. We had to.
What did you find?
A giant hall. It was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. There were murals and carvings all over the cave walls. Old glyphs that I'd never seen
Ok, tout ça
before.
pour en arriver où du coup?
Shaper glyphs, maybe.
No, not Shaper. They looked as if the god...
Interesting. What else was there?
Nothing. That's what baffled me. Apart from those murals, the hall was completely empty. And for some reason, the ground in that hall was completely smooth, like polished stone. There were braziers, one in each corner of the hall, and they were burning brightly. Rain was as confused as I was. But, nonetheless, we entered the hall. And that's when the trouble began. Because all of a sudden, the exit was gone. No magical noise, nothing. Just in that moment when we looked the wrong direction, it disappeared. And instead of it, we were looking at another wall.
Ok, et du coup?
Strange. What did you do?
Well, after we calmed down a little, we assessed our situation. We figured that this was the Iron Trial, and that it was our task to find another exit. So we started looking. But it was pointless. There was nothing. We couldn't even hear the wind anymore. For the next 14 days we were trapped. We couldn't make that wall disappear, and no matter how long we studied the glyphs, how long we prayed, nothing happened. On the 5th day, our provisions had come to an end. Save for half a skin of water and a handful of jerky. On the 8th day, it was all gone.
Blazes. How did you survive?
I'm getting there. As you can imagine, the thirst was the worst. It drove us mad, and we searched every corner of that goddamn hall for just a drop of water. Not that we hadn't looked before, but as you know, hope dies last. Have you ever had thirst, Tahar? Real thirst?
Regardez Mad vs Wild. Alors du coup, je te dis que non.
No.
And hope it stays that way. I'd rather bleed out on a pole than experience that again. On the 11th day, Rain and I were
11e
puking
jour,
our
sans
guts
boire.
out. Our skin had literally started to crack, and I felt as if I was burning from within. On the 12th day, we were only an inch from death. That's when the dream came.
A dream?
Yes, a shared dream, almost like a vision. We were still in that hall, Rain and I, but we were out of our bodies, floating like spirits. At first I thought we had died, then I saw what was different. The floor was full of blood, and that blood was burning. The murals and glyphs had started moving, twisting, like shadows dancing on a wall. That's when I first understood what they were depicting. For some reason in the real world, I'd never been able to.
What did they depict?
It showed what was expected from us, what we had to do to get out. Sorry this isn't easy. I've dreamed about those
Really?
weeks ever since. But telling someone, Zarek demanded a fight. Either one of us died by the hands of the other, or we would die there together. The Iron Trial. We were never both meant to pass.
Oui, c'est clair. Ça me surprend pas en
Truth be
fait.
told, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. And it shouldn't have surprised me either. But for some reason, I just... I don't know. He had known Tahar, our elder, our master. He had known that it would come to this. Yet he still decided to send the two of us out at once.
So you fought each other?
No. Trial or not, I would have rather died than done that. And that's precisely what I told Rain. A god that demands a man to kill his own sister is not a god that deserves worship by anyone. But Rain wouldn't have it. She claimed that if both of us died, Both of our lives would be wasted for nothing. I got angry and asked her if she meant that she wanted to fight me. She said no.
I don't understand.
She wanted me to kill her. She told me that she was already too weak to make it down the mountain anyway, but that I could still make it. Believe me, Tahar, if there had been any strength left in me, I would have punched her just for suggesting it.
And yet, you're here.
I am. I should have known before she even did it. She always had to have it her way, no matter the price. It happened when I was asleep. She took my dagger from its sheath, put it into my hand, and drove it through her throat without hesitation. When I opened my eyes, her blood was already all over my face. And as if Zarek had been watching all along, the wall disappeared. No noise. Just like that. The wind was back, and it was raining outside. The first time in months. I like to think that she saw it before she died.
Did you make the descent?
I did. There were berries in a mountain goat that had been hit by a rock slide, right next to the exit. It was so absurd I almost had to laugh. When I got back to the Elder's shack, I screamed at him, then broke down and started to cry. He just listened. In the end, he told me that we had both known what had been at stake. Yet we agreed. Choice and consequence. He made me a shaman the next day.
Sans vouloir, je pense, oui, c'est cruel, c'est un truc orc. Hein. Ouais.
That's cruel.
Maybe. But without cruelty, there isn't life. Don't you too send brothers and sisters into battle, Tahar? Children, fathers. You do it because ultimately, you believe the outcome will lead to a world more desirable. It was the same with Rain and me. We wanted to be shamans, Zarek's chosen, and we both paid the price.
I see.
There's one more thing. Remember when you asked me why I feel the way I do about our culture? Why I think we orcs should strive for more? It's Rain who made me realize that. Most orcs would have fought each other in that cave, to the death. But she didn't. Instead of submitting to her primal instincts, she made a sacrifice. One that I could have made too, if I hadn't been such a coward. Blazes, it feels strange to have told you all this. But, I don't regret it.
Well, thanks for trusting me with this, Gore.
Let me have some time for myself right now, alright?
Ah.
I need to think.
On a accès au dernier sort. Par contre, ouais, assez déçu par le background final de Gore. C'est un personnage que je trouve super intéressant jusque-là. Mais son background, en fait, est hyper prévisible, en fait, à la fin. Donc, je suis pas fan de la fin de son background. Je sais pas ce que vous en pensez, mais... dès qu'il a commencé à raconter l'histoire, comme quoi il avait une sorte... Enfin, une fille considérée comme sa sœur, tout bordel, etc. Machin. On le savait d'avance qu'elle allait mourir à sacrifice. Enfin, ça s'est vu à des kilomètres, quoi. On serait un peu déçu par son background. Je m'attendais à un truc qui sortait un peu de l'ordinaire, quoi. Du coup, on va parler à ce monsieur, que j'ai oublié le nom. Voilà.
Ready to discuss the next steps?
Alors...
There's just one thing I still can't wrap my head around. How did Lacaine become so powerful? How could he rally so many people behind him?
C'est Lacaine, quoi.
The big question, isn't it? In the end, I think it boils down to the fact that he poured salt into the wounds the Mage Wars had left in Northander. You see, it's not hard to rally people behind you if they are desperate enough. He just gave them a simple answer to a complex question. And the people believed him. Though I don't consider him a pragmatist, he really believes in what he says, that Aeonia will return, once mankind has repented, which worries me even more. There's nothing more dangerous than fanaticism, fueled by magical power. Your father is the best example.
Ok. Sentenza, Sentenza de toute façon, elle est restée con jusqu'au bout quoi. C'est un peu dommage quoi. Personnage qui était hyper intéressant au début, je sais pas, si pour vous rappeler Sentenza c'était le mec qu'on voit au début quoi. Et qui est resté borné jusqu'au bout. Et j'ai pas compris pourquoi il est resté aussi borné quoi. Je m'attendais vraiment à ce qu'il se rende compte un peu de l'absurdité de son truc quoi. Non, mais non.
I want to talk about Sentenza, his death.
Well, what is there to say? As I heard the story, he didn't leave you much choice.
So you're not angry?
For you defending your life? No. I never understood why he was so
Ouais, c'est ça.
obsessed with hunting you down to begin with.
But he was acting on your orders.
Well, yes, strictly spoken, he was. You were a traitor. Or at least, that's what we thought back then.
Okay.
That witch hunt in Iskander, the battle at the Eye, that was his choice.
Why? Why did he want me dead so badly?
Well, I can only guess. But to me, it seemed as if he felt as if you had, I don't know, betrayed him. He always spoke highly of you. Did you know that? At times, it almost felt as if he considered you his own kin.
I thought so.
You see, Taha, in the end, both he and I are men born from war. Seeing people die at your command, hearing the widows and the orphans cry as a result of your choices, it changes you. You need to find a way to deal with it. And Sentenza did so by shutting off his emotions entirely. Or, at least, to the outside. But in the end, he always did what he thought was best for Northander. He saw the Harbinger's true face, even before he revealed it. And I brushed it off as his usual distrust towards anyone, which was, as you know, a fatal mistake. And who knows, maybe if I had listened, it would never have come to this.
Without the Harbinger, I'd be dead.
That's true. But this discussion isn't leading us anywhere, Taha.
C'est vrai que d'un côté, on a le personnage principal qui est un peu niais en fait. On a des fois le choix de réponses qui sont un peu plus durs, mais il reste niais dans l'ensemble comme notre personnage. Cette Tenza à côté est hyper borné. Ils auraient peut-être pu développer un peu plus les caractères. Genre, Iria, le personnage est hyper intéressant. Pareil pour Uram en fait quoi. C'est vrai qu'il y a des personnages par contre qui sont un peu niais en fait quoi, dans leur développement.
You didn't tell me yet. How exactly did you get here? Weren't you in Greyfell when the Harbinger took over?
No, I wasn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. But we were on our way back the night it happened. As you can imagine, it was a hard choice to make. But eventually, I left my pride behind and realized attacking Greykeep with the little division I was traveling with would have been suicide.
So you fled.
We retreated. The rest is simple. We went to Iskander because we had heard the rumors about your army. There we met one of your scouts, and then the elven woman, Iria of Finnonmere.
Oh, she decided to let you in?
Correct. You know the rest. Your people were a bit distrustful at first, and I don't blame them. After all, they'd been fighting the Royal Army not too long ago. But eventually, they realized that we were on the same side.
En fait, ce que je pense, c'est que en fait, le jeu manque de décisions un peu impactantes sur le gameplay par la suite. Je prends l'exemple par exemple dans Suikoden 1, vous affrontiez les généraux adverses en fait quoi, et vous aviez l'occasion soit de les tuer, donc oui ils mourraient définitivement, soit de les recruter pour votre armée, soit de les laisser en vie quoi. C'était intéressant ça par exemple. Donc là c'est pareil, cette Tenza, il y avait moyen je pense de le récupérer dans notre groupe si vraiment on arrivait, si on faisait un cheminement d'histoire qui fait qu'on arrivait en fait à rallier à notre cause, il y avait peut-être moyen de le récupérer. Je trouve ça dommage qu'il meurt comme ça bêtement en fait quoi, parce qu'il est resté borné sur une position. Alors qu'en plus maintenant en gare il est de notre côté quoi. C'est vrai que c'est dommage. Un peu dommage. Oui,
For what it's worth, I'm glad to have the Lord Marshal of the Royal Army in our ranks.
Well, right now I doubt if I still deserve to bear that title. Half of the Royal Army is gone, and I'm to blame. But I appreciate the sentiment.
Alright, let's discuss what comes next. I'll go get the others.
Good.
Voilà. Ok.
Good. Now that you're all here, I'd like to plan how we proceed. As...
Tahar, I think you should allow yourself some more rest. You were in a coma for more than a month, and we still don't know what that melding actually did to you.
Isn't it obvious? It made him more powerful.
Yeah, but where does that power come from? What effect does it have on the human body or the psyche? We don't know.
Par exemple, ouais, je reviens sur le background d'Isgrim. Lui, il est intéressant quand même, quoi. Ils ont pris des risques quand même, quoi. Il fallait l'histoire d'un nain homosexuel, il fallait le faire quand même, quoi. Ça sort un peu de nulle part, on va dire, quoi. Ok. Oui, je vais bien.
I'm all right, Isgrim. Just trust me.
Fine. Then go on.
Thank you. So, our objective is clear. We need to defeat the purity of light and save my mother. Angar, am I right to assume that Lacaine made Greykeep his new base of operations?
Correct. It's the center of his power, which is both good and bad. It's bad because Greyfell was built to withstand any kind of ambush.
And why is it good?
Because it also means if we succeed and reconquer Greyfell, we'll cut off the snake's head. Once we kill Lacaine, the purity will fall. However, there's no point in fooling ourselves. That battle for Greyfell will be bloody, and if we want to have even the slightest chance of winning, we need to join the remaining houses.
Ultran, Hallet, and Wulfgar.
Yes. If we put this army together with theirs, we might stand a chance. Also, you should see if you can strengthen the alliances you already have, Tahar. I have a plan regarding that, so we can talk further once this meeting has been concluded.
So do I.
All right. So where do we start?
It's up to you. But before we can even think about arranging a conclave between the houses, we need to break that spell the Harbinger put on my sister Myra. Isgrim, any ideas?
Actually it should be simple. We need to find the one controlling her, take the rune and, well, destroy it in the forge.
And who is controlling her? What if it's the Harbinger himself?
I doubt it. The manipulator has to be physically close to his subject, so it'll most likely be someone in Lady Myra's army. But your rune will react to another rune's presence, so once that person is near, you'll feel it.
Good. Then I have a plan. The Harbinger has taken up position in Iskander, between the Utran and the Everlight border. You know that place, Tahar. It's where your father started his rebellion, and where Sentenza almost captured you.
The Loyalist camp. So what's your plan?
We strike in full force and take the castle. He'll be forced to initiate a counterattack. And my sister's armies, the Utran army, will be the closest ones at hand.
A bait.
Yes. We hold the castle against the main army, whereas you, Tahar, and a small troop get behind enemy lines. You find the rune carrier and strike from the shadows. Obviously, you'll have to act quick. We can't hold against the entire Utran army forever.
Ok. On reprend le château, ils sont un piège au fond. Ok.
All right. So we take over the castle, wait for the Utran armies to cross the border, sneak behind their lines, and eliminate the rune carrier. And once Lady Myra is freed, we will try to gain the support of House Hallett and House Wulfgar.
Yes, though we'll need to take care of something else before that. But let's discuss this when the time comes.
Agreed. One more thing. This will be dangerous, and our original mission has been completed. In other words, if any of you are thinking of leaving, now is the time.
Ok, question à la con qui sert à rien.
Well, then we best get prepared now. I'll tell you when we head out.
Understood. Tahar, I'd also like to talk with you if you have a moment.
Corporal Tahar. A word, if you will?
Who are you?
Private Miller, Corporal. I'm from the Royal Army and came here with the Lord Marshal. We've captured someone who we suspect belongs to the Purity. He was seen in the deserted village outside this city, and he looks suspicious. He claims to be a simple courier sent to deliver a message to you, but we didn't want to take any risks. He's outside, near the entrance to the caves.
I see. Thank you, soldier. Dismissed.
Corporal?
Ok, il s'en passe des choses. Allez, donnez-moi 2 secondes du coup. Ok, c'est reparti. Alors du coup, donc le plan a l'air plutôt simple en fait. Hein. Au final, ouais, ça, on attaque l'armée Uran en fait. Et puis pendant ce temps-là, on se faufile pour choper le mec qui porte la rune. Et apparemment, avoir le soutien des 3 factions, des 3 maisons en fait, c'est une seule mission apparemment en fait quoi. Donc on va parler aux autres. Alors attendez, lui pour l'instant on va pas lui parler tout de suite. Lui non plus. Attendez. Par Yana, par les Rouen, par l'Intergast. On peut reparler encore une fois. Demande à Gore comment obtenir le soutien des orques. Ah, on a déjà le soutien des orques, non?
Yes.
Moi je dis des conneries, mais il me semble qu'on l'a déjà. Et ça c'est la mission principale ça. Et on va plutôt du coup se diriger vers les trucs secondaires. Alors déjà je vais aller chercher... Je vais voir Isgrim, savoir si on peut avoir la suite de la quête en fait. Vous savez, pour les armures magiques. Pas pour les armures spéciales nains. J'ai ramassé pas mal de pièces, alors il est possible que j'ai assez de trucs. Soutien des elfes, il me semblait que j'avais déjà le soutien des elfes et tout, c'est bizarre quoi. Il me semble hein. Soutien des elfes, soutien des orques j'ai déjà quoi. Toujours le même bug ici. Et vous savez que j'ai déjà le soutien des elfes, le soutien des orques et le soutien des humains quoi. J'ai leur armée déjà.
Interesting.
Alors voyons voir avec lui. Est-ce que j'ai des trucs à te donner?
Tahar, thank Nihal if you're awake. For a while I wasn't sure you'd make it. How do you feel? Out on the battlefield we didn't really get the chance to talk.
Ça va. Ça, c'est pas grave. Hein. Je crois que t'es mort depuis longtemps donc ça peut aller.
Could be worse.
Well, that's good to hear. It's a tragedy. The purity on the loose, with the power of the Archfire in the Harbinger's hands. Who could have seen that coming? For what it's worth, I'm sorry I had to go through this. I truly am.
Après, comme j'ai dit, hein, notre personnage il a l'air d'avoir quasiment la... On va dire peut-être pas la quarantaine, mais la trentaine bien tassée. Donc à cet âge-là, quand tu perds ta mère alors que tu crois que tu l'avais jamais vue, le choc s'encaisse peut-être plus facilement quoi. Alors... Oui, ça les doutes à l'égard de Lacaine, ça on est d'accord.
I always had my doubts about Lacaine. Only I didn't expect
Si,
this
on
to
s'y
happen.
attendait carrément, arrête.
I figure.
Be that as it may, all that matters now is that we stop him. What about you, Isgrim? I doubt whatever bargain you struck with Lacaine still stands.
You're still here, so I guess you aren't planning on leaving.
Me? No, of course not. Where would I go, Tahar? There's no way of knowing what the Purity would do if they caught me. He wanted to kill you, so maybe Lacaine doesn't want to leave any witnesses. Not to mention that we're still in the ancient Shaper city, full of marvels waiting to be discovered.
Well, I'm glad you're able to see it that way.
A frown hasn't helped anyone yet, has it? There's, one more thing I wanted to ask you. It's about your mother. About Andra.
Ask.
I'm not sure how to say this, but she was a Shaper. A living Shaper.
Elle est morte? Elle est pas morte du coup? Ah, peut-être qu'elle est pas morte en fait. Ouais.
What are you getting at?
All tragedy aside, you have to understand how fascinating this is. A Shaper who survived through the aeons. And as if that weren't enough, you even turn out to be related. I have so many questions, Tahar, so many questions. Iria said at the moment Andra and you melded, she made you see something. Fragments of her past. Now, I can't help but wonder, what was it? Did you see Mullendir in all its former glory?
C'est bizarre de pas en parler quand même, c'est vrai que c'est c'est important quoi.
I didn't see anything. It's more like I suddenly have that sense of familiarity. Especially here.
But that's even more exciting. She must have transferred some of her memories onto you. I wonder if that's part of this melding ritual. Look, Tahar, I'm not sure how to say this, but how would you feel about it if I examine her? There's so much we could learn from her, even if her mind has left her body.
Pas trop loin non, mais je trouve ça normal en fait perso.
Why? What are you hoping to gain from that?
You mean apart from being able to examine the body of a living Shaper? There's much we could learn. Maybe we could even find something that helps us fight Lacaine.
Raison de plus. Si tu penses que ça peut t'aider, ouais vas-y. Non.
If you really think it helps, all right, do it.
He really just said that. Point thee, Half. Thank you. I'll talk to Undergast as soon as possible. His knowledge will be a great help. It'll be a while before we can start, but we'll do it as soon as possible.
Ok.
What do we need?
Yeah, do you need something? I'm a tad busy.
Parlons stuff. Merde. Ah, il veut pas mes pièces de stuff? Tac, tac, tac.
Found out anything?
Well, now,
Which means that the shape...
somehow, yes. And I'll find out.
Goodbye.
Il veut pas de mon stuff. Ah, c'est con, dommage. Ok. Bon, au moins, on a quand même débloqué quelque chose. Je sais pas si c'est vraiment important dans l'histoire. Et je pensais qu'on avait récupéré des pièces par contre ici. Bon. Du coup, je vais me téléporter jusqu'à mes autres mecs à qui parler et à tout de suite. Et commençons la discussion avec Kyria.
Ah, I was hoping you'd come by. That was quite the surprise visit, wasn't it? The Harbinger couldn't have picked a better time for his attack.
I guess you could say that. How's your injury? That blast from the barrier looked quite painful.
The blast? Oh yeah, sure. I'm as good as new. One of the perks of being a light mage.
Ouais, tout à fait.
Tahar, I'm sorry. For everything.
What do you mean?
Well, what you discovered in that dungeon. I didn't see that coming, honestly. I mean, I'd always felt you were different, but an experiment of your father? I would have never guessed. And now that bastard Lacaine took your mother. It's just... one tragedy follows another. Now I feel almost ridiculous thinking about my supposed problems.
Ça va, il réagit mieux que Clou dans FF7 quoi. Alors...
Problems are always subjective.
I guess they are. Tell me, Tahar, if you had had the choice, would you have wanted to know? About your mother and how you were born?
Bien sûr.
Yes. It's always better to know the truth.
Is it? Sometimes I wonder if the truth doesn't just make it all worse. Anyway, Shaper or not, it's good to have you back. Honestly, there were times when I was worried you wouldn't ever wake up again.
I'm touched.
You better be. Anyway, in case you were wondering, I'm not planning to leave now. If you need my help, I'll be here.
Ça, bah non, on va pas lui dire ça. Hein. Elle va pas aimer si on lui dit ça. Hein.
Thanks, Iria. I really appreciate it.
Great. And now that we've got that out of the way, you should get some more sleep. You still look like a walking corpse. Don't make a habit out of it. I'll talk to you later.
On a toujours pas débloqué par contre ça. Truc final.
Corporal? Need anything?
Ouais, on a toujours pas débloqué son sort final. Attends.
You never told me why you fled Fin...
Fair enough. You've given me little reason to distrust you, so... Oh well. I already told you about my father. How to him I had always been more of an asset. Well, after my father died, I decided to become a novice.
A novice?
Someone aspiring to be a priest of Ellen. I don't know why I did it. It was something my father had always considered a backup plan if an arranged marriage wouldn't work out. Part of it was probably because obeying my father was all I knew at that time.
Was it difficult to receive the novitiate?
Not for me. First of all, I was a good candidate. I was still very young, not even in my 30s. And I already knew a great deal about magic and healing. Secondly, I was, after all, pure blood. That helped as well.
But something happened.
Yes. In my first year, I fell in love. That crazy, hot-blooded, head-over-the-heels kind of love that the bards all sing about. The boy felt the same way, and for the next year it was, well, it was perfect. It was the two of us against the world. Maybe you know that feeling.
Ouais.
And the priests didn't mind?
Priestesses.
Si c'est un catholique, on va
Only
dire non.
women are
Quoi.
allowed to teach. And no, they didn't. Elves consider love to be a blessing of Ellen. Forbidding it would be near absurd. I have no clue where your monks got that idea from. Though, of course, that boy and I tried to, restrain ourselves when the situation demanded it.
Son nom, on s'en fout.
And I guess your romance didn't end well.
You guess right. But it was more than that. You know, I told you how I always felt estranged around other people. I knew how to put on a smile, how to make myself fit in, but it was always fake. Shallow. With him, it was different. Dramatic as it may sound, I thought I had finally found someone who understood me. Then there was the novitiate. Despite all the time I sunk into doing the crazy things lovers often do, I never failed as a student. Or, no, let's put it another way. I was the best, in every aspect.
Which didn't sit well with some people.
No. And eventually, they made sure I felt it. They excluded me from everything, stared at me when I walked by. It hurt, yes, but I convinced myself it didn't. I've always been good at that.
Did it take a toll on your relationship with that boy?
More than that. My lover's friends started manipulating him. Telling him that I only saw him as my pet, that he was a failure, and that I only kept him around to feel good about myself.
Ok, pour l'instant, il n'y a rien de dramatique. Hein.
What? And he listened to them? That's pathetic.
Maybe. But he was young, same as I, and young people often do irrational things. You see, we novices all knew that only 4 out of 20 will be granted priesthood at the end of our training. And being a failed novice leaves you with a mark you'll keep for the rest of your life. It all looked peaceful on the surface, but beneath that it was an arena. And these other novices, they made sure my friend became aware of that fact. To him, I started being a rival as well. And do you want to know the biggest joke of it all? I didn't see it. The idea that, I don't know, that he would listen to them. That he would ever reach a point where he'd put what we had below his hurt pride and his fears. It never crossed my mind.
So what happened?
Well, he knew I was curious by nature, so one night when we were in bed together, he suddenly asked me if I wanted to go on an adventure. Of course I said yes. So we snuck out into the cloister's courtyard. It was beautiful. The night was cloudless, and the old oak, our cloister shrine, had just begun to bloom. We made our way to the library building, but of course the door was locked. Out of nowhere, he pulled a key, grinning at me, and opened it. It was insane. As you can imagine, priests aren't known for being lenient towards these kinds of trespassings. We were risking our novitiate, and I didn't even know the reason, but I liked it. And we were doing it together, weren't we? It was exciting. He took my hand and we went to the High Priestess's office. We opened the door and went inside, and there he finally told me what we were here for, to open the grimoire.
Quel grimoire?
Grimoire?
The High Priestess's spellbook. It was a stupid idea. And if I hadn't been so blind, so bloody naive, I should have seen it by then. But I didn't.
What did he ask you to do?
To open it and try to read one of the spells. He teased me. Told me that I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, saying it like that. It sounds so bloody stupid, doesn't it? But again, I was too blind. I laughed. I wanted to impress him, so I gave him a kiss. Opened the page and started saying the words. Long story short, I lost control. The spell was too much for me to handle and it misfired. One moment I was staring at the pages, the next one, the library was aflame and my lover was gone.
Ok, carrément.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. I was the one too stupid to see it coming.
How far did that fire spread?
Not far. It was put out before it could do real damage. But, of course, that was the end of novitiate. I was thrown into the cell of shame and sentenced to 12 years of polishing prayer banks and cleaning floors in the shrine.
Your lover, did he regret it?
I think so. The only bloody gratification I ever got from this. But even if he would have confessed and begged me to take him back, I couldn't have. All that connection, that trust, it was gone. Worse, it was tainted.
Did you try to tell the priestesses the whole story?
No, I just sat there and smiled. Of course I did. But my love had all his friends to back him up. To them, it wasn't even a trial. It was a feast.
Ouais.
But you never did polish those prayer banks, am I right?
No. In the night after the trial, they still let me sleep in my chamber. thoughtlessness, I suppose, or maybe they simply didn't care. I got my things, left, and never came back. So, here it is, the whole truth. No dark secrets, no assassinations, no necromantic rituals. Just a plain old broken heart. Compared with all that shit you had to go through, it almost sounds ludicrous.
Après, les deux histoires, quand même, sont... Elle a une histoire, on va dire, peut-être un peu plus courante, mais elle l'a vécu toute sa vie avec, quoi. Lui, il vient de l'apprendre, quoi. Que... Ok, du coup, ouais, c'est pas le cas. Hein.
It doesn't. Being betrayed by someone you
Ah, ouais,
trust
ça, c'est
often hits the
vachement dur,
hardest.
quoi.
Yeah, I guess. It's just... I don't get it. How could he give all that up? I mean, there was something between us, you know? Something rare, something precious. But no. He threw it all away for his fucking vanity. But in a way, it's just a continuation of what I've always known. Wherever I am, I'm a stranger. People don't like me, and I don't like them.
For what it's worth, I'm glad our paths crossed.
Yeah. Me too, Corporal. Me too. I'd like some... space now.
Ah,
I hope you don't mind.
ça y est, on a Renaissance.
Let's talk later.
Ok, bah vous voyez, son histoire elle est un peu plus intéressante. Ça reste un peu classique aussi à la fin, la finalité. Mais ça reste quand même intéressant. Ok, enfin après c'est peut-être moi la façon de voir les différents backgrounds, quoi, mais... le background, par exemple, d'Iria au complet est plus intéressant que celui de Guerre au final, quoi. Ok. Il faut qu'on parle à Yana, il faut qu'on parle à Humulin... Ok. Le messager... Ok, bon, je me TP, à tout de suite. Ok, du coup, de retour. Alors, on devrait parler du coup à ce mec-là, qui est, je crois, c'est Rowan, du coup, là, faut lui causer pour je sais plus quoi. Mais on fera ça, du coup, dans une autre vidéo, parce que je sais même pas combien de temps dure celle-ci. Du coup, on se laisse là, et on se dit à la prochaine. Allez, bise.